Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Glad to be here.
I am incredibly ready to get into this one. Today, we are virtually heading over to the Stade Pierre-Mauroy to unpack the Six Nations clash between France and Italy.
It's a game that really deserves a closer look.
It really does. And look, I just want to start with the obvious here. If you just glanced at the headlines or, checked your rugby app on Sunday evening while you were making dinner, you probably saw the scoreline.
France 33, Italy 8.
Right. France 33, Italy 8. And you might have thought, okay, standard business, France rolled them, nothing to see here.
Yeah, I mean, it is the logical assumption to make. On paper, that looks like a comfortable bonus point day at the office.
Exactly. But here is the thing, and this is exactly why we do these deep dives. That scoreline, it's deceptive.
Oh, massively.
It is actually a bit of a liar.
It really is. It completely masks the reality of the actual contest we watched.
Yeah, so we are going to dig into why this match was actually a massive positive for both sides.
Yeah.
Not just the winner. We're talking about a French team that is industrially engineered for a Grand Slam and an Italian side that, despite the loss, is finding genuine hope.
Definitely a lot to unpack.
But hey, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the scrums and the systems, I have to say this. If you want to stay ahead of the game and get these breakdowns sent straight to you, you need to subscribe to Rugby Obsession right now. Just hit that button. You really don't want to miss what we have coming up.
Absolutely. The analysis is only going to get deeper from here.
Okay, let's unpack this scoreline. 33-8. In the cold light of the table, that looks emphatic. It looks like a blowout. But you're telling me that if I was actually watching the clock, the story was
Completely agree.
completely different.
Yeah, completely different. Up until the 72nd minute, Italy was arguably within touching distance. They were right there. The blowout, those extra tries that inflated the score, that all happened in the dying moments. For the vast majority of that match, it was a proper physical contest.
That is the aha moment for me right there. Because usually when you see 33-8, you just think one-way traffic.
Yeah.
But Italy actually brought some serious heat.
They absolutely did. And we really need to give credit to Gonzalo Quesada.
The head coach.
Right, Italy's head coach. He has instilled this defensive resilience that we haven't always seen from the Azzurri. In the past, Italy might have folded after 50 minutes.
Yeah, we've seen that movie before.
Exactly. But here, they were courageous. They were highly competitive for huge chunks of the game.
And there was one area where they didn't just compete, they actually dominated. And I want to get technical here because the sources use the word monstered.
Oh, they certainly did.
They say Italy monstered Les Bleus at scrum time. Now, hold on. That is a heavy label when you were talking about a French pack that usually weighs in as one of the heaviest in world rugby.
Massive men.
Right. You've got guys out there that aren't small. How exactly did the Italian front row dismantle them?
Well, it comes down to technique over pure tonnage. Simone Ferrari and Danilo Fischetti in that Italian front row, they were just outstanding.
It wasn't just them shoving harder, was it?
No, not at all. Ferrari, the Italian tight head, did something really intelligent. He wasn't just driving straight, he was attacking the seam. He isolated the French loosehead, forcing him to bore in.
Which is a penalty magnet.
Exactly. Referees hate that. If you bore in, you are collapsing the integrity of the scrum. And then on the other side, Danilo Fischetti.
What was he doing?
His body height was essentially subterranean.
Subterranean.
He got so low that the French tight head couldn't get a binding purchase. And when you lose that stable platform, your back row can't detach quickly, your number 9 is under pressure.
And suddenly that French machine engine starts sputtering.
Exactly. That is what Quesada has drilled into them. Technical precision as a weapon against raw size.
So if you are an Italian fan listening right now, you are probably feeling frustrated by the final score, but really encouraged by the fight.
100%. They made France genuinely uncomfortable in the set piece. And looking forward, this gets even more interesting. Italy hosts England next in Rome.
Oh, that is going to be a spicy one.
We'll consider the context. Our sources describe England as being in a free fall spiral right now.
Ouch. Free fall spiral.
It's harsh, but that is the perception out there. And if you are Italy, coming off a game where you physically dominated the French scrum and defended with that kind of courage, you are looking at that England game and you are licking your lips.
I hear you on the free fall narrative, and the sources are definitely painting a grim picture of England's current form. But let me ask you, and I want our listeners to weigh in on this too, does Italy actually look poised to upset England based on this performance?
I think they have a real shot.
I want to see your comments on this. Do you think England's free fall meets Italy's rising tide in Rome? Let us know. But, okay, let's flip the coin. We talked about Italy's positives. Let's talk about the French machine.
The machine is the perfect word for them.
We had a bit of drama before the kickoff, though, didn't we? Mathieu Jalibert withdrew the night before the game.
Yeah.
That is your starting fly half. Gone. Less than 24 hours before his Six Nations test.
And for a lesser side, that is panic stations. That is the kind of disruption that throws your entire game plan out the window.
Total chaos.
But for France, they barely registered it. And this is the key insight into where this French team is right now. It is system over individual.
System over individuals. And before we dig into how that actually works on the pitch, I just want to drop a quick reminder. If you're getting value out of this deep dive, take a second to subscribe to Rugby Obsession. It is the best way to make sure you catch all our tournament coverage. So back to the system. Jalibert is a mercurial talent. You don't just replace that creativity with a spreadsheet. What is the coaching staff doing that makes the fly half position plug and play?
It's about the distribution of responsibility. In a lot of teams, the 10 is the sole general. Everything runs through his hands.
Right.
But in this French setup, the playmaking is decentralized. You have Antoine Dupont at 9, often taking the first receiver role.
Taking the pressure off the 10.
Exactly. You have ball-playing centers. You even have forwards acting as pivots. So the fly half doesn't have to create magic on every single phase. He just has to be a cog in the machine.
He needs to hit the designated runners, kick to the corners.
Precisely. When Jalibert pulled out, they don't need a clone of his genius. They just needed someone who knew the traffic patterns. It reduces the cognitive load on the replacement.
That explains why they look so calm. They weren't asking the new guy to win the game. They were just asking him not to crash the car.
Spot on. And speaking of the guy driving the car, we have to talk about Antoine Dupont.
We always have to talk about Antoine Dupont. But he wasn't doing backflips or running 80 meters every time he touched the ball in this game, was he?
No, and that's the beauty of his performance. It wasn't his most spectacular afternoon for the highlight reels, but he absolutely owned the key moments.
There is a specific kind of excellence where you make the difficult look simple.
And Dupont lives in that zone. Or there was one moment our sources highlighted, a turnover on Leonardo Marin.
Yes, this was the turning point. Marin makes this threatening burst. Italy is looking to convert pressure into points. This is that moment where the game hangs in the balance.
And Dupont just snuffs it out. The sources described it as anticipation so sharp it borders on the supernatural.
Supernatural.
It fits perfectly. He saw the isolation before it even happened. He realized Marin was slightly separated from his support runners. Dupont jackaled over the ball, locked onto it, and the execution was so clean there wasn't even a doubt in the official's mind.
He reads the game faster than everyone else. And he wasn't the only one bringing the heat. We saw some serious power from the pack. Thibaut Flament.
Imperious. He was the spine of the lineout. Flament is just the architect in the air. He disrupts the opposition throw and secures his own with total ease.
And Emmanuel Mifo.
Pure power.
The guy is a giant.
He scored a try that was just a masterclass in body position and strength. He forced his way through the Italian defense from close range. But he moves so well for a man of his size. He gives France that go-forward ball that makes the whole system tick.
And then we have the speed out wide.
Oh,
Louis Bielle-Biarrey.
the world-class package.
Has a massive label.
He earns it. He is on a record 8-match scoring run. Think about that consistency at the international level.
8 matches in a row is absurd.
It really is. And the terrifying thing for defensive coaches is that when he gets a sniff in space, there is no reliable answer to him. You can't scheme against pure speed like that. If you give him half a yard, he takes 50.
So you have the system, the supernatural scrum half, the power forwards, and the unstoppable winger. It sounds unbeatable, but here's the million-dollar question.
Go for it.
If Italy played well, if they monstered the scrum, if they were close until the 72nd minute, why 33-8?
It comes down to accuracy and depth. The moments that separate good sides from great ones.
Accuracy in the big moment.
Exactly. Italy created momentum. But when they got into the French 22, the final passes went to ground. The decision-making got rushed. They struggled in the air.
The pressure just got to them.
It did. And then there was the turning point, the yellow card for a deliberate knock-on.
Right.
That gifted France field position. And you cannot give a team like France a man advantage and field position and expect to survive. That basically ended the contest as a competition.
That is when the floodgates opened. But it wasn't just the starters capitalizing. Up until the 72nd minute, it's a contest. Then the yellow card happens. But it was also about who France brought onto the field.
It was almost cruel. You have Italian players who have tackled themselves to a standstill for 70 minutes. And then they look up and they see Baptiste Saran trotting onto the pitch.
And Saran isn't just a backup. In any other nation, he is a 50-cap starter.
Easily. And look at the back row. Charles Ollivon comes off the bench. The man is former captain.
To have a player of that caliber as your finisher is a luxury Italy simply doesn't have.
France has solved the problem of attrition. Most teams degrade as the game goes on. France just reloads. They have Dupont, Saran, Legarec, Grau, all at scrum half.
It's industrial engineering. They've built a conveyor belt of talent. And we saw it with the fourth try from Emilien Gaëtan.
A converted winger playing center who tied it all together. His footwork was so instinctive, it was fresh legs running at tired minds.
So the system grinds you down, and the depth finishes you off.
Exactly.
So everything is perfect in French rugby land. Grand slam incoming.
Well, not quite. There's one Achilles heel.
The scrum.
Right. It is the one worry for their Grand Slam hopes. We said Italy monstered them. That is a worrying level of scrum dominance to concede.
The analysis says France remains a tight head short of elite status.
It is a real vulnerability. If you can't secure your own ball, or if you are giving away penalties at scrum time, you are in trouble.
So if Italy can push this French pack backward, what happens when they go to Murrayfield?
That is the big question. You can have all the Ferraris in the back line you want, but if the garage door is stuck shut, they can't get out.
Is there a fix for France?
There might be. A man named Tavita Tatafu from Bayonne. He was pulled from this game but played for his club on the weekend, suggesting he isn't seriously injured.
So they might bring his weight and power back in.
They will likely need to, because the next test is Scotland at Murrayfield.
And that is viewed as the biggest test of the competition so far.
Scotland will be looking at that scrum tape and thinking the exact same thing Italy did. They have a heavy pack, and they will target that weakness mercilessly.
So let's recap. France is marching on. The depth is absurd. The system is bulletproof. But the scrum is a flashing warning light.
And Italy lost 33-8, but they found a defense and are looking at a struggling England side next.
It sets up a fascinating next round. So here's the thought I want to leave you with today. We have talked about the industrial depth of France and the supernatural Dupont. But rugby starts at the set piece. Can France's depth overcome that scrum vulnerability when they face Scotland?
I can't wait to see what people think about that.
Drop your predictions in the comments.
Yeah.
Can the French machine be broken at the scrum? Let us know. Look, thank you for hanging out with us for this deep dive. If you learned something new today, do us a favor and subscribe to Rugby Obsession. It really supports the show.
And it gets you ready for the next round of Six Nations action.
Exactly. Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.